How late did you stay up the last 2 nights to watch 18 innings of baseball and a Warrior tip at 8 o'clock?
So for baseball, I stayed up until about 10:20. That's when it hit the bottom of the 14th.
Yeah.
And then once it got to the 15th, I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like, I've reached my limit. We're out of here. So I started going to sleep around then. And for the Warriors game, I figured just watch maybe the first quarter and a half and then just watch the rest of it on BART on the way in or something, because I was tired from the night before. So I'd say I stayed up later for the World Series.
As you should, because it's a World Series game. And right now, as we're talking, just your opinion, we're coming to you on a Wednesday night. We'll talk NFL, the week that was, week 8. But right now, I believe the Blue Jays are leading 5-1 in
Correct.
this. Was it Game 5?
It's game. Yes, it's Game 5.
Game 5, which would be huge because then the next 2 games, or the next game, if they close it out, would just be in Toronto. I thought this was a do-or-die game for the Dodgers to win tonight, given that home field advantage flips back to Toronto, and now they're losing. So now the Dodgers have to win, 2 games in Toronto, which would be interesting. But yeah, so the other night, like Monday, we had the equinox of baseball, basketball, football, and hockey. And baseball was the most captivating thing. I mean, hands down. It brought me back years ago to, of course, the game that everybody brought up with 18 innings, the Red Sox and Dodgers, where Max Muncy had the home run to win the game. And
weren't you and I out there? Didn't we?
I was just about to ask that. I remember Alon was there. I think you were there with us at Lark near Montgomery.
Yeah. I remember that.
And then you and I took a long ass lift back to the East Bay.
God, yeah, Jesus.
Because we were watching that game. That game must have ended relatively the same time it did on Monday night, like midnight. Yeah. And Bart could have been running still, but no. I think at that point we were still hanging out. Maybe we got drinks after the game. You were like, just fuck it. Let's just split an Uber home.
Right.
But yeah, dude, I enjoyed watching that game. I will say, like, it's different watching on a Friday night, like the Mariners and White Sox game. That was on a Friday night. If I remember correctly, that game 3 in 2018, that was on a Friday night as well. Yeah, it had to be because we were out drinking. On a Monday night, I'm like, how long is this going to go? And it was, it was fun. I think, honestly, in hindsight now, the Blue Jays kind of preserved a lot of energy, where the Dodgers just, Will Klein had an amazing performance. Freddie Freeman also almost walked it off earlier and then walks it off later. You could say now that maybe the Dodgers are a little gassed from that performance, but yeah, it's going in the Blue Jays' favor. As far as the Warriors game last night, I thought I'd be all for a 8 o'clock tip, because I did not like a week ago with the season starting a 7 o'clock tip that bled into the original game, the earlier game with the Thunder and the Rockets, that bleeding into the Warriors tip against the Lakers, and you have to watch it on Peacock. I was all for it. I was like, whatever, I have a late show, so it doesn't matter to me. But last night I found myself being like, damn, this is pretty late. I don't know if I'm really like that enthralled in the game right now. And it was a back-to-back for the Warriors. But yeah, I got to say, like, 8 o'clock tips, kind of interesting. Like on a weeknight, I don't know if I'm that entrenched in the game as much.
No, I'm over it. I'm over it at that point. It's just I'm thinking about bed at 8 o'clock, or I don't know. What am I going to have for dinner the next day? I think 7 o'clock's a good start time. I do feel bad for those on the East Coast, but at the same time, like, this is why West Coast is the best coast, man. It's because of these types of starts. And I just, the 8 o'clock tip, I don't really get it. I don't get the point of it. NBC, I guess, just
it's 100% TV purposes, so you're not missing the other game.
Yeah, see, that's where they need to change something. They need to solve it. I don't know. I mean, NBC Universal has a bunch of TV networks out there.
Why can't they
why can't they just get it on one of those, like this, this Turner Sports situation, like with True TV and HBO Max. And I'm telling you, I think Peacock's going to do it. I bet you they will at some point because they're going to be there for the next 11 years. But I think a multi-view's coming. I think you're going to realize the multi-view's the best way to go because these 8 o'clock starts suck. I haven't seen anyone who's happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, just talking to the sports writers, we had Sam Amick on today, and he was like, I tried to go out to Chase Center last night. I was making my way, and I realized it was a later start. It just the traffic and everything. And he was honest. He was like, I turned around and went home. I was like, I'll catch the rest of the game, in my house in Sacramento. Like, Steph Curry's kind of known for letting the media wait.
Right.
And I did like on Monday night, he came out quickly and answered Danny Emmerman's question about the exotic lineups. And Steph was all time, man. I think he was kind of a little loose, like a little just kind of nuts after the game where he was like, ooh, exotic. Ooh, delusional. I like that. And yeah, like gyrating while he was doing it.
Yeah.
A little stir crazy. But he can't keep people waiting too long after these 8 o'clock tips. So initially I was like, yeah, why do I care? I don't have to wake up early the next morning. But I was like, even for me, this is kind of late. And the East Coast audience, whatever, they don't watch the Warriors to begin with. I heard enough people bitch and complain about the Monday night doubleheader a week ago between the Seahawks and the Texans. So whatever, I love the fact that we on the West Coast can watch games at 10 a.m. because they truly are morning slate of games. And the afternoon's just 1 o'clock. You watch Sunday Night Football. It's done by 8 o'clock. You don't feel like it's too late. But and maybe I'm just getting older. But yesterday I was like, damn, this Warriors game ending at 10:30, a little too late for me.
Yeah. Also, it didn't even start until 8:15.
Exactly, which is the case with every NBA tip-off. They tell you 8 o'clock, but of course they have to do a big introduction and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And every minute is valuable when you're, past your 30s in age. Like, I saw a video earlier the other day where it was a guy who said when you're a millennial and realize that you're the same age as all of the animated shows that you watched, not the animated shows, but the parents in the animated shows.
Oh, God.
At the start of The Simpsons, Homer is meant to be 34.
Oh, don't tell me that.
In the Rugrats, both the parents are 32.
Oh.
Yeah. If you
is this established in the shows? They actually say this shit?
No, but it's like online.
Man, people have a lot of time on their hands, but
I do. But when you have a bunch of TikTok followers, that's all you do, right? Is just try to find any content that you can.
Yeah. Well, I watch The Simpsons every night before I go to bed on Disney Plus, and there's one episode where Homer's like dreading the fact that he's going to turn 40, and he's like, "Oh, Marge, I'm only like 2 years away," and then Marge reminds him like, "You're 39, Homer," and he's like, "Oh," and I'm like, God, I am 5 years away from being Homer, having a midlife crisis. I hate that.
Yeah, but maybe pop culture is what impacted our overall psyche about age. Like, I remember watching Friends and turning 30 seemed like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I know.
The entire episode where Joey turns 30, it's like, why, God, why? It's just very, it's like the 20s are romanticized. I'm okay being in the 30s. I'm okay with maybe feeling a little too old to have to stay up for that sort of thing.
Right.
But hey, I mean, we're always going to keep watching. Maybe they need to bring in a younger audience. I don't know what their thought process is behind that. Although there's some out there, like my friend who I just visited in Portland, he doesn't go to bed until at least midnight every night just because of the way that his schedule is. So I don't know. Different strokes for different folks.
No, definitely. But yeah, with that same mindset of like getting older, I think I like the Warriors embracing a little bit. Like, of course, everybody has to say the new trendy slang. So everybody's like, oh, the Unk lineup with Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler and Al Horford. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, if people want to call us Unks, like we're, getting that, and of course, like you and I established in an earlier podcast, with our complexion, I don't know if we can be Unks, but if Unk means like cool guy that isn't phased by getting older, I'm cool with that. Whatever. I'm an Unk. Whatever. I don't give a shit. I want to say this too, and maybe I should say this for Jackass of the Week, but I got a lot of different nominees for that.
Wow.
Did you see today, dictionary.com selected 6'7" as the word of the year? Like, what are we doing? It's not a word. That's a number, and it's a phrase said by idiots. I'm sorry, but like, the new generation sucks. I don't know what 6-7 is. I'm not trying to know what it is. But the fact that that's the word of the year, our society is just crumbling. God.
Yeah, we all had our weird quirks, though. Like every generation,
We definitely did.
When we were in our teens, but it does feel like this one is a little weirder. Like if you go back and watch, I don't know, movies from the 80s, what was their thing? Going to the mall and smoking cigarettes in the bathroom? Like at our time, what was it? Probably, I don't know, playing a PlayStation 2 and then growing up in the early days of YouTube where we used to laugh at a big dude with headphones on going, Maya, Maya,
yeah.
You know, or Chocolate Rain. I don't know what our quirk was back in the day.
I got to be honest, I wasn't a fan of any of that stuff either.
I'm sure we were. Well, you were an old soul, Derek.
I know.
I'm sure we were odd, but this one feels like on another level of just
stupidity.
Bizarre.
Yeah, I'm with you on that
6-7? What is that? Like when I see that, what are you juggling?
Juggling balls. That's what it looks like. And then these NFL players are doing it, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
All right. So the Blue Jays threw 7, by the way. Trey Savage having a monster game. And if also I didn't bring this up at the top of the pod when we got into our little World Series, just brief. But Magic Johnson put it perfectly. With the series being 2-2, Game 5 is very important. Whichever team wins takes control of the series.
Yeah, no shit, Magic. God. He definitely doesn't fight the accusation that he just tweets out the most basic shit.
Kevin Gosman ended up quote tweeting it with a gif from Zoolander during the Center for Ants scene. And he was just Will Ferrell going, he's absolutely right.
Well, yeah, because you take the lead and you're 1 win away from winning the World Series. Yeah, me chastising the youth of America besides all that. Yeah, what do you think about the World Series right now? Toronto looks like they're going to win this game. It's at top of the 8th. The Blue Jays are leading 5-1.
Yeah.
They might pull this thing off, Steven. Might be in 6.
They could. I actually think it's going 7. I don't know why.
I thought so too.
I have a strong feeling Game 6 is going to have. I think the Blue Jays are going to get by here because I think the Dodgers are just demoralized right now. I think they need a day off because to go have that 18-inning game where you managed to scrape by thanks to a journeyman pitcher like Will Klein, you mentioned his name.
Yeah.
The dude was just an added trade piece, really. Like he was made his debut on the Royals and then got traded to the A's, I think, then got traded to the Mariners from there. And he was just playing in the minor leagues for the Mariners. And then he was traded to the Dodgers and just kind of got called up for the World Series just because I think they had expanded rosters or whatever. And lo and behold, he ends up giving you 4 strong innings. But I think when the Blue Jays just fought back and instantly had that rally, like they're just a tough lineup, man, to get through. And I think one thing that stood out to me in this game is just how Dave Roberts was refusing to go to the bullpen because he knows if a starter's taken out, they're screwed. Like the Dodgers bullpen isn't good. And I don't know if we took that in. I think we felt that the lineup and the defense was good enough to alleviate that problem, but you can't have Yamamoto throwing a complete game every single game. You can't expect Blake Snell to go out there for 8 innings. And when Joe Davis is thinking, I think there was like 1 out in the 7th, when Joe Davis is thinking, okay, well, here comes Dave Roberts. That's going to be it for Blake Snell. Oh, wait, no, it's Mark Pryor. Like it seemed like a time Roberts would have made a bullpen switch, but he didn't. And I think that's where this series is really interesting right now. I think the Blue Jays have kind of found the secret sauce to beating this team. Obviously, you needed, a stellar performance from your starting pitcher like they got tonight, but God, it's got to be just so debilitating right now for the Dodgers to come off that win and then for the Blue Jays just to keep fighting, man. But they're young, they're hungry, and it's really cool to see a Goliath getting beaten. I don't care if it's the Dodgers. I don't care who it is. If you have a superstar team and the underdog is able to get by, I think that just makes for an entertaining series in sports in general. It would suck if you're a fan of that Goliath team, but who doesn't love an underdog, man? It's great.
Yeah, I think that most of the country is rooting for the Blue Jays because they haven't won since 1993, and we just saw the Dodgers win, and they monopolized baseball with getting all these big name free agents. And I have defended Joe Davis in the past, but I see Rocket New Era here says Joe Davis sucks. I've always defended him as a good broadcaster and not being biased, but I will say during the World Series,
you can tell
he's kind of let it be known when the Blue Jays shine, he is not as enthusiastic as when the Dodgers do it.
Yeah.
And you're seeing, I like, I'm not like a Giants conspiracist where I think that, like there's media that favors the Dodgers, but I see it in the tweets that Jeff Passan posts. Like it seems like the media really wants the Dodgers to win because it will benefit baseball. They're, a big league team and generate a lot of money. At the same time, the Blue Jays, that would be just a great underdog story, as you said.
Yeah, man. And having not won it since Joe Carter in 1993 do what he did. And then to have, the whole Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef amped up. God, the Dodgers are letting Kendrick down right now, doing him dirty.
I know. Is that even been a thing, though? Like, I know people posted that when the series was kind of slated, but yeah, it has been a thing. It's just been a social media thing.
I did think people expected it to be maybe as lopsided as that little rap beef was. And, but, obviously we're seeing what the Blue Jays are doing. And as for Joe Davis, look, man, very professional, whatever. And the bias has come through, but that's never where I've had a problem. To me, he's just so corny.
Really?
It just feels so, his voice is great, and he does have a call for the moment, but some of the stuff just sounds so scripted to me.
Yeah.
And like
he's a broadcaster, Steven.
He is, but like I'm talking like the last call of the game where it just feels, it doesn't feel natural. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. It's I've felt this way a lot since really he took over for Joe Buck. Like it feels like it doesn't feel like he's unique to anybody else. Like I recognize him because of his voice, but he's just like any of these other kind of young national broadcasters. I don't think he brings anything different to the table.
Yeah. I think he's impressive. I think that he really knows how to capture the moment. I think that a lot of broadcasters are not great at going a higher octave when there's a big moment, and he knows how to scream, kind of like with Kevin Burkhardt. It's funny enough, it's the Fox broadcasters, one for baseball, one for football. I think he's solid. I just think that, yes, you're seeing a lot of favoritism when he's on the mic in this World Series. Real quick, before we get into football, just your thoughts on the Warriors. The other night, they had a great win against the Memphis Grizzlies. Last night, pretty good defensive effort. I think that the offense kind of was a little rusty coming off or not rusty, I should say, but tired, from a back-to-back, and the Clippers looked really tired. They didn't even have a back-to-back themselves. I guess their age showed a little bit, but just early impressions on this Warriors season, starting 4-1.
I think they just picked up right where they left off towards the end of the regular season, and this is why I'm fairly bullish on this team. But I know it's a lazy kind of take, man, but it's just the injuries. Like, what happens? What happens if Steph or Jimmy Butler gets hurt? I mean, they're probably going to go with Jonathan Kuminga, which I guess would be fine, but they're working so well as a team right now. It feels like they need all the pieces to make it work. So I guess from that standpoint, I'm just a tiny bit worried. It's just, okay, well, what happens though? Like, what happens if they miss some guys for a few weeks at a crucial juncture? Right now, they're playing some awesome basketball. I mean, they're moving it around. Steve Kerr's basically calling it a dream with what they're doing. Like tonight, the stat that was most telling to me was when I think 4 players scored in the double or scored over 20 points, and Steph Curry didn't. And it's only the 6th time that's happened since he's been wearing a Warriors uniform, which is really impressive considering they've played, he's played over 1,000 games with the Warriors. So the fact that was the 6th time that happened, I think that shows that they're a different team. Jonathan Kuminga, I mean, what more can be said? This guy's playing within the offense. This is what we wanted, man.
Yeah.
We wanted a guy who was active, playing within the system. And I don't know, maybe we did sound like we gave up on him and said it's just not going to work. But I think if I had to guess, and I saw our Nick Friedel mention this on 95.7, and I completely agree with them. I think Jimmy Butler is finally the one who mentored him to teach him how to play with Steph. at his position, teaching him when to cut, when to pass, how to play. Like, I don't think he's really had that. I mean, he's maybe had, I don't know, what, Draymond, but Draymond plays a different position.
Yeah.
Right. He needed a guy like Jimmy Butler, I think, to really just push him and tell him, like, look, this is what you got to do, man. I've been in your position. Like, I've been in a position where I was kind of an afterthought, which Jimmy Butler was on the Bulls. He wasn't always a superstar, right? Like, we always think of his time with, I don't know, Minnesota, Philadelphia, and then, of course, the Heat. But his time with the Bulls, it wasn't always sweet. And I think that Kuminga's just done such a good job. Yeah, you're right, Ernie. Iguodala's probably up there too, but Iguodala wasn't playing. Iguodala can speak so much. You can't really lead by example when you're, basically a player coach off the bench. So I think Jimmy Butler's had a huge impact, and credit to Kuminga, man, for coming through. Again, it's just a really well-rounded team. Just impressed with how complete their games have been so far.
Yeah, I mean, they're clicking on all cylinders, picking up where they left off a year ago. I thought that maybe there would be kind of a slow start out the gate, and, you would see Steph Curry and everybody try to figure out the offense, but they're thriving right now. And I have to give a ton of credit to Jonathan Kuminga. This is not the same player we saw a year ago. This is a unselfish player. This is a guy, he said the other night, where he's mature, he's growing, and how do I impact this team besides just scoring? How can I be a better rebounder? How can I be a better passer?
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear like some people say, like, that player was there all along. No, this is a different mentality. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the contract. Maybe someone got to him. Maybe he got assurances that he'll be traded by the trade deadline. But I'm not going to entertain that right now. If they keep playing like this, and Steve Kerr even said it last night, like they asked him, is he starting again? He goes, he's solidified as a starter going forward. Yeah. He's part of it. He's integral to our success. Yeah. So, yeah, until otherwise, this is all that I wanted. I never wanted Jonathan Kuminga to fail. I just didn't like the fact that he thought that he was bigger than what they established the last 10 years. Like, we're talking about Steph Curry here. We're not talking about the Brooklyn Nets or Charlotte Hornets. We're talking about a team that won 4 championships. So for someone to come in and just be like, no, I want to play my brand of basketball, I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here then. But if he's going to be unselfish and play like this, I'm all for it. I never wanted to hate the guy. Right. I hated the way that his agent went about things. And maybe I just got too caught up being a fan. But if he keeps playing like this, I have nothing but good things to say about Jonathan Kuminga. And as far as the team, I kind of was skeptical about them going into the season because of their age, and that still could be a factor. I still wonder about Al Horford. He doesn't need to start games, but I liked him. He's been a little rusty. I know they just signed him a month ago, but Steve Kerr stressed that we can't have Draymond Green keep playing the 5. And just because Draymond starts at the 5 doesn't mean that, that's going to be bad for him. But, so far so good. I think that Draymond said it, the other day, as far as the contenders in the West, he would consider the Warriors, the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Clippers, and the Lakers. I think it's way too soon to talk about contenders. Like, you got to wait till, some people say like 20 games into a season. I would say let's get closer to the trade deadline and the playoffs to really know who the true contenders are. Yeah. But it's obvious. The best teams in the West are the teams that have championship pedigree, the teams that have been there and done that. The Nuggets, the Thunder, the Warriors. I don't count the Clippers. I don't count the Lakers just because those players have won championships, but the team collectively haven't won. Same thing with the Rockets, with Kevin Durant right now. It's a brand new team. The Spurs are great coming out the gate, 4-0, but I got to see it to believe it. So I would say right now, yeah, the Warriors are right up there with the Nuggets and the Thunder, but it's 5 games in. Let's see what happens here.
I think that, look, man, if Victor Wembanyama keeps playing the way that he's playing, the Spurs might be kind of the new version of the Thunder. I'm not going to say they're going to win the West this year, but I think they're going to be on the rise because Wembanyama has just found another gear. And I think the Clippers, I don't think they're going to be the type of team that they're going to hold to 80 points every time. I think they got a lot of veteran pieces who they're still just trying to fit together and get used to in the season. Very interested to see what Quentin Post looks like if they put him up against Ivica Zubac again. I did a pretty good job on him. I mean, it was a fairly inefficient night for what Zubac can usually do against the Warriors. He only misses, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 shots at most, but going for 7 for 12, it's not bad. And I think you're seeing him maybe turn a corner. He said that he worked all the summer in the weight room and everything and bulked up, and that really paid off, maybe at least last night. So, yeah, there's a lot of season left. I'm really interested to see how they go tomorrow because the only other guy that might be in line for MVP right now, if you want to have those early end of season award contenders, it would be Giannis. Have you seen Giannis's numbers?
I have not.
He's averaging 36 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists a game.
It's pretty incredible. Dude. I'll say it's very early. And I'll also admit that I'm really just watching Warriors basketball and not watching around the league at this time. I don't get really entrenched in basketball until after football. But that's impressive. Dude, not gonna lie.
Like, this is as good as he's looked. And and also Ryan Rollins, former Warrior, kind of thriving with the Bucks right now. But one thing is the Bucks have that the problem you Warriors used to have that they don't really seem to anymore. And Butler kind of talked about it last night. The non-Steph minutes.
Yeah.
You don't really have those issues with Butler now on the team, but with Giannis, the non-Giannis minutes are brutal for the Bucks. So whenever he sits down, like, that's the way the Warriors are going to win that game tomorrow. Is just whenever Giannis sits, you got to be, in the +10, +20 range just to even get by them, because Giannis looks to be unstoppable. And maybe Draymond Green could be that guy, but the Warriors are really going to have to, I think, sell out to stop him and just try to make others beat him.
No, I'm with you on that. And as far as the Warriors and their, hopes for a title this season, obviously Steph Curry and Draymond Green and, Jimmy Butler need to be successful, but it really hinges on, to me, the development and the play of Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody, and Jonathan Kuminga. I've always said that those guys need to do more, and the mentality has always been strength in numbers. So if those guys take their game to the next level, then I think that we could probably see them make a significant playoff run. But we'll see. There's a ton of time. God. All right, let's get to some football. No Raiders this week. We'll talk about them as far as could this be the last game coming up this weekend for Jakobi Meyers. And I want to give a remembrance to some Raiders that passed away recently.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the 49ers in their game. They lose 26-15 to the Houston Texans. Can't say I'm really surprised, but what were your takeaways from the game, Steven?
It's just the injuries, man. Like, how long could they weather that storm? And what stood out to me was how they just got completely outplayed in the trenches. There's just nothing they could do with the defensive line. The offensive line was the Texans' offensive line, that is, was just giving C.J. Stroud all the time in the world, and Stroud was just picking them apart. And I think this was a game where he needed to get his confidence back in some way, and I think he did that. It's just the defense just was giving up way too many big plays. I mean, you shouldn't be getting beat by Woody Marks the way that they did in both the run and passing game, giving up, I think, what was it, like a big 30-yard catch or something like that, or even 50-yard, that ended up going for, I think they ended up scoring a touchdown out of it. But I just think the injuries have really, really caught up, man. And Mac Jones, like, this was the hesitance I had with maybe just, having him usurp Brock Purdy as a starting quarterback. I'm like, the thing that separates Purdy, man, is what he can do with his legs. And I'm not saying Purdy would have won that game by any stretch,
right?
But I think he would have actually made something out of some of these drives. Whereas Mac Jones, it's just, he can't move right now because I think he's still laboring on that knee. And I think he's going to just continue to for the remainder of the season as long as he's playing, just because he's not getting any time off. But beyond even just that game, I got a little more for the next week. I don't even think it's like the injuries that that I'm worried about. I don't think it's like the lack of, I heard Jim and Copes earlier, I don't think it's like a total lack of the pass rush, which I do think is a glaring issue. But there's one other thing that concerns me moving forward, and it might sound too simplistic, but it does have to do with the schedule. But your thoughts, Derek?
Well, first and foremost, the most important thing when we talk football, I beat Alon in picks. So the next time that Alon joins us, he owes me for 2 rounds of hot sauce for getting his picks wrong. But as far as the 49ers, the story of the game was the lack of pass rush. The Texans being 9 of 16 on third down. The time of possession was ridiculous. It was the Texans having the ball for 41 minutes to the 49ers 18. Total plays for the Texans 75, 49ers 44. The game script for the 49ers was just thrown out the window. Like Kyle Shanahan said going into the Atlanta Falcons game, he knew in order to beat them, they had to run the ball 40 times. In this game, whatever his game plan was, didn't matter because the Texans controlled the ball. And C.J. Stroud, pretty good quarterback. I think people forget about that sometimes. Not the best offensive line for the Texans. And the way that he's able to extend drives, I mean, they had third and longs, and they were beating zone coverage by just dumping the ball out to the flat, and nobody was able to make the tackle, or even like bonehead penalties by Upton Stout with a defensive holding call. Like the Texans just outplay the 49ers, where the 49ers against the Falcons, they were able to scheme it up. Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh won that game for them. And, of course, Christian McCaffrey having over 200 yards from scrimmage. But I hate this phrase because I can't stand it. It's not the X's and O's. It's the Jimmies and the Joes. I think that applied this week where the Texans just had better personnel. The 49ers, they can scheme it up the best they can, but they didn't have the personnel. They did not have the pass rush.
You're saying they had more Jimmies than Joes?
Absolutely. And I hate that phrase because you remember Last Chance U, the coach that was Coach Brown?
Yeah.
The dude that was on there, and now he does like an unhinged podcast with Sean Salisbury. Yeah, because he always said, like, remember there was a scene in that documentary, he's like smoking a cigar in his jacuzzi, and he's like, you know what, man, I could get ready for this game tomorrow, but sometimes it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. And then cut to the next game, he loses like 70-21. So I never liked him. Anyway, my point is I hate that phrase, and just Kyle Shanahan could do his damnedest as a head coach, and Robert Saleh can. They can find ways. Like a good reason why they're 5-3 on the season is because of them. But if they don't have the personnel, they're going to lose these games. So I was not surprised in the sense that the Texans have a really good defense. Watching that game on Monday night against the Seattle Seahawks, I saw a defense that's really good and an offense that's terrible. And the defense coming back in the game. I thought the Seahawks have a much better offense than the 49ers do right now. And the Seahawks just got lackadaisical. They were dicking around in the second half of that game. You saw the strip sack by Will Anderson that recovered in the end zone. Derek Stingley Jr. got an interception. I thought, okay, if they could build off of that, then they could beat this team. Like the 49ers, if you take away Christian McCaffrey on the ground, which a lot of teams have this year, then what are you going to do? Like, it's not going to be the same thing like the 49ers did against the Rams, where for whatever reason, the Rams are playing zone coverage, and you're able to do just these crossing routes with Kendrick Bourne all day long. They were playing man-to-man. They dared Mac Jones to throw the ball. The offensive line could not hold up against that pass rush with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. And, yeah, like as I said, the pass rush was not there on the defensive side. So C.J. Stroud is able to pick apart a defense for the first time this season, with the exception of the Baltimore Ravens, who were just depleted defensively. Right. But, yeah, you're having the likes of Jalen Noel and Xavier Hutchinson, dice up this defense. So, yeah, dude, I think that the 49ers, this was the first time where you saw the injuries really take a toll, where if they don't have a pass rush, if they don't have, the offensive line to protect Mac Jones, and to your point, this was the first time where I saw Mac Jones have flaws in his game, where he's filled in nicely, but I don't know if Brock Purdy would have won this game for the 49ers, but he would have given him a better chance just with his mobility. So, saying all that, the 49ers are a beat-up team, and they've been resilient and found a way to win. But this is the first time where I saw, like, okay, this is where I think they're going to slide a little bit. Like, I know that they have a leg up on the division with 3 wins, but with playing the Rams in a few weeks, no game on their schedule is a gimme, in my opinion. Like, yes, they play the Tennessee Titans, and they play the Cleveland Browns, but with the way that the offensive line is played and the way that the defense has been playing lately without a pass rush, I don't think that anything's a foregone conclusion for the 49ers the rest of the season.
You just don't know, at least these next 2 games, like the ones against the Giants, it's just if the offensive line performs the way that it did, then I don't know if they're going to have much of the it's the same with the defensive line too. I just don't know how much of a chance you can really give them. Like, that's what's been so strong about the 49ers is they've just been able control the line of scrimmage on offense, and the defense has just been able to overpower the other offensive line with just everyone that they have. But now Robert Saleh is calling a different style of game because he actually has to bring more than 4 pass rushers to get to the quarterback. And even when he does, it hasn't been all that effective because, well, you're going out there with mostly backups, and especially without Bryce Huff, who, Bryce Huff's good, but like, I think we're getting a little too highlight heavy on him, where it's like, we'll show one highlight where he looks amazing, like the time against the Falcons, but down by down, he wasn't really like a 3-down defensive end. He was more of like a guy who's going to come in passing situations and usually, put a damn good move on the tackle. And he has like this bend that's just insane, but he's not making plays every single time where he's like wrecking the game.
But by default, Steven, he's the best pass rusher out there.
Right. And I know they traded for Keon White. I don't really know what I have no clue what to make of that. I just don't. Like, I think that's just for depth at this point.
It's out of necessity at this point. They have nobody.
Just to get a body on the field. Like, I don't know what to expect from him. He was a healthy scratch with the Patriots last week. How are we even supposed to know what he's going to bring?
Well, Kyle's a big fan. Today he talked about it, where a year ago he even talked glowingly about Keon White, where he's versatile. You could put him out the outside as an end, or you could put him inside as a defensive tackle. But to me, like, I think it was telling what Kyle said after the game, where he said, our reality is realistic, or whatever the phrasing was. Where I think what he was trying to say was, look, and he kept saying this, like, we're not going to make a trade for somebody to help us out just for this season, an expiring contract that's going to hurt us for draft picks next year. We need somebody that's going to be here for the long haul. So when he said that after the game, our reality is realistic. What I think he's really saying is, we know what kind of team this is. I brought this up before, but I think Kyle and John are going to say the right things to the media, but behind closed doors, they're going to be like, we know we're not as good as in 2019.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what do you think Kyle is saying? Like, what do you think? Because he's just had so many successful teams, and I don't know. It feels like, and this might be wrong to put on somebody, but with just how much success that they've had in getting to the conference championship as many seasons as they have, like, it feels like Super Bowl is kind of the bar for these guys. I think they're done thinking playoffs. Like, great, okay, it feels like, like when the Patriots lost to the Titans in 2019. It was 19. Yeah. It's just like, all right, a loss in the divisional round, whatever. Like, we didn't reach the Super Bowl. This is a failure. And now it feels like, I don't know, playoffs. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that they're making the playoffs. Baldinger was on 95.7 The Game saying it'd be unbelievable if they made the playoffs at this point, just because of how injury-laden they are.
I don't think it's unbelievable just because of the other teams that are losing right now. Like, the Atlanta Falcons got shit stomped by the Miami Dolphins. And you're seeing right now the Minnesota Vikings have to play the rest of the way with J.J. McCarthy. Mm-hmm. The Bears lost to the Baltimore Ravens. I think that they can make the playoffs by default, just being a 7 seed or 9-8, 10-7. But I'm with you, Steven. They're gonna lose some games now. That's what I fully expect. They're gonna start losing games to the Rams. Like, even though they have a leg up on the rest of the division, I can't see them beating the Rams. Hell, I have a hard time seeing them beat the Giants next week. And I'm not saying the Giants are this new team that are, is amazing with Jackson Dart, but Jackson Dart's mobile. Like, how is this pass rush going to contain him? But as far as
what's the offensive line going to look like against the Giants pass rush?
Exactly. They have 3 guys. They're not trading Kayvon Thibodeau just yet. There's 3 guys you have to account for. So as far as what Kyle and John say behind closed doors, as far as being realistic about this team's success, I mean, Kyle even said it before the season, where this wasn't Super Bowl or bust. That was last year. That was the last dance. That's why you signed Brandon Ayuk before training camp, and you run to him while John Lynch is making a phone call to Omar Khan to trade him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was all for that. This year, you realize the owner gave me a freebie last year where, okay, whatever, fuck the salary cap. This is what we have to do. This year, no, we're not signing back Talanoa Hufanga. We're not signing back Dre Greenlaw. We told Kyle Juszczyk to take a pay cut. We have to, invest in our mainstays in Brock Purdy and George Kittle and Fred Warner, but we're not going out and splurging like we were. We have to reset the cap. So we're going to have a competitive rebuild. And Kyle told SiriusXM Radio, this is more like 2018. This is more like 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope to make the playoffs, but this is not a Super Bowl season. And Trent Williams said the same thing. So as far as trading for Keon White and bringing in Cleveland Ferrell on the practice squad, that's out of necessity because they have nothing pass rush wise. So to me, that wasn't them like, we have to get somebody. That was them being like, or like, we have to get somebody because we're one player away from making the playoffs or being a Super Bowl season. That was yesterday just them being like, I like Keon White. He's getting phased out of New England. They have Harold Landry and Chason, who was with the Raiders, who's a pass rusher for the Patriots. There's no place for him on this team right now. I also think it was Mike Vrabel and Elliott Wolf, making the rounds yesterday, being like, all right, so we know what we have in the New England Patriots right now. Let's go around the league and see who's desperate for a pass rusher and safety. We'll call the 49ers for a pass rusher. We'll call the Pittsburgh Steelers to trade them Kyle Duggar. And it worked. They were having a fire sale. But yesterday didn't give me any hope that the 49ers are making the playoffs. I think it was just, we need a body right now because we're depleted.
For sure. And the thing that has me concerned more moving forward, and maybe it should, maybe what we just talked about is bad enough. Injuries, lack of a pass rush, lack of an offensive line, probably not going to make a trade for a superstar. I imagine that if Trey Hendrickson's on the move, that another team would be willing to give up a little more for him just based on what the 49ers, apparently the Cowboys are the ones making the call. And I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know what Jerry Jones' relationship is with the Bengals owner, but who knows? I mean, it's a different conference.
They're both crusty old men that didn't want to pay their pass rushers initially.
But Captain Obvious reporting for duty. This team just needs a break. That's what I'm gathering right now. They need a week off, and they don't have a bye week until week 14.
I know, it's brutal.
Like, that's the thing that gets me, is this team has still got to play 5 more games and somehow slowly bring back a quarterback who's dealing with the toe injury. And the way that he looked against the Jaguars, he looked horrible. He looked horrible against the Jaguars. It hasn't to the point where, the certain section of the fan base, led by Grant Cohn, are leading the charge for saying that Brock Purdy stinks and Mac Jones is much better.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
That one game and that sample size, and also what he's done last season, which, kind of makes you wonder, man, they might have a point here. But point being is Brock Purdy didn't look good against the Jags at all. Mm-hmm. And then, did they bring him back too soon? Probably. But who knows with turf toe injuries? Shanahan said, you guys wanted to be black and white. It's not really like that. I don't really think anyone wants it to be so black and white. I just think we want answers. And the answer that he has to give them is, I don't know, because of just how unpredictable it is. This Ricky Pearsall thing, it just continues to linger. It's weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk, who knows what he's going to look like coming off a multi-ligament injury. So even if they get reinforcements back, whatever. And then the Fred Warner and Nick Bosa injuries are going to be looming large for the rest of the season, and they still have 5 more games to play. You're at the situation now where it's like last year where George Kittle just has to talk up every member of the team to convince you that they're still going to be competing again. He's doing that right now. And I love the way that George Kittle speaks. I love his positive energy, but I think this is the point of the season where they just need a week off, man. And these next 2 weeks, I think the Rams have their bye week this week.
They just had it. They're playing the Saints this week.
It's the Eagles and Bucks this week, and then the Cowboys next week. And then from there, anyone who's going to be contending within the NFC to reach the playoffs has had their bye week. They've already had that week off to reset and refresh. Now, barring some sort of injury, I just think like right now, I see the 49ers sticking where they are at best, like at the 7th seed.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
I don't know if they're going to get any much higher than that. Maybe they can. I don't know. We were talking so much about this coaching staff after that Sunday night game against the Falcons. I could be totally wrong, but that game against the Texans was just so. You mentioned the time of possession. It was just so un-Kyle Shanahan. Like 18 minutes, never happened in the Kyle Shanahan era. Easy.
Yeah, but that's on the defense. The fact that they just couldn't get off the field, and you need pass rush in this league. Like, we saw it today. Like if you don't have a pass rusher, you have no chance. You have to have a quarterback and you have to have a pass rush. And Aiden Hutchinson was paid today. Was it 4 years, $181 million? I don't know how much it was guaranteed, but it's the most for a non-quarterback. And I'm glad that. I shouldn't say I'm glad, but like initially when I saw that he got the deal done, I was like, God, I hope they didn't settle for less than Micah Parsons. But he gets paid $45 a year. Micah Parsons gets $47, so it's close enough, but he gets the most guaranteed money. I was kind of shocked they did that deal during the season. But regardless, when you can lock a guy like that up, you do. So, all these contenders in the NFC right now have pass rush. The Lions, the Packers, we saw it Sunday night against the Steelers with Micah Parsons. That's why you make that move. The Eagles, they're missing Nolan Smith, but in time they'll pay that guy along with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Not really pass rushers, but solidifying that defensive line. The fact that they don't have Bosa out there and they're relying on Bryce Huff, who, good player, not a great player. They're relying on Michael Williams. I don't think they can be better than a 7th seed at this point. I think that their ceiling is a 7th seed, and let's see what happens after that. But I have my doubts. So
I just don't think anyone expected, and I don't think we'd be talking this way if the Seahawks weren't as good as they were. I don't think anyone expected the Seahawks to be at this point. Like, I think, there's only so many contenders in the NFC. The Cowboys might be there, but I don't think many expected the Seahawks to be within that top 7. I think most had the Seahawks landing at 7, if anything. But on paper, the 49ers just look so much better. And I don't think many felt that Sam Darnold was going to look kind of like the Vikings version of Sam Darnold with Seattle. I think that's making all the difference right now. I think we expect what we're getting right now. I had it pulled up. Hang on one sec. What we're getting right now with Packers, Eagles, Buccaneers, Lions, Rams, 49ers. I think we expected all of those teams to be up there, but I don't think anyone expected the Seahawks to be leading the division in the 4 seed. I think that's making a huge difference.
Yeah, we did our division previews before the season, and I think I had the Seahawks finishing 3rd or 4th, whatever it was. If you ask me, though, like who has more talent going into the season, I'd probably say Seattle, but I just didn't count on Sam Darnold playing as well as he has. Maybe I should have because he's linked up with Clint Kubiak, who was with him with the 49ers. Going into the season, like the 49ers, they have talent with, Purdy and McCaffrey and George Kittle and Bosa and Fred Warner. When those guys are away and you're playing with a bunch of rookies right now, it's bound to happen. So, I would, we've been talking about this for a while now, but just the bottom line is, injuries are kicking their ass right now, and they probably do need a week off, but they're not getting in for a while now. They're not getting in until week 14. So people have their conspiracy theories. I saw Chase Sr. and other people say today that, you see this, that maybe they're injured because they practiced so close to an electrical field or whatever the fuck the theory was. But there is no reason.
Right?
Yeah, John Feliciano brought that up too, yeah.
Also,
he's got a lot of theories out there.
Yeah, he does. Also, no offense to this guy. Who is Chase Sr.? Like,
Chase Sr.
Who are we? Like, really? Do we been asking these questions? But like, he just kind of popped up out of nowhere and has kind of been like a voice. And I'm just like, where? But I guess he works for Chat Sports is where he's at.
Yeah, I think he lives in Dallas and he covers the 49ers. And it's just that section of, I don't even want to call it media, but I guess aggregators that just like, let me try to put out every piece of information out there with the team that I cover. And if it sticks with people and it gets people going, then I've done my job.
Well, at least they give an opinion. The thing with aggregators is they don't even give an opinion. They just paint the news picture in the wrong way.
Right.
It's like breaking. No, this isn't breaking news. None of this is breaking news. At the very least, I'll say Senior is way more comprehensive than any of these aggregators are. But it's just kind of. I'm just like, okay, where'd this guy come from? Anyway, that was just a random question that popped into my head. I'm kind of thinking out loud here.
No, I'm with you on that one. I wonder where a lot of these guys come from. But then again, as you said, who are we to judge where people come from? That's our 2 cents of the 49ers. We'll see how they play against the New York Giants this week. As far as the Raiders, going to lose this week because they had a bye week. But everything that I would anticipate, or everything you read as far as the trade deadline, I would anticipate that Jakobi Meyers would probably be dealt the trade deadline. I think like a wide receiver needy team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills would make a lot of sense for Jakobi Meyers at this point. He's made it be known that he's not happy with his contract situation. We knew that before the season started. And I think he was asked recently, like, he, was asked again, like, do you want to be traded? He goes, yeah, my stance hasn't changed. It's just I'm not going to be demonstrative about it. So I would anticipate with the record the way it is and him not having a ton of productivity, him and Geno Smith not really establishing a connection, he's going to be dealt. Not to mention Tyler Lockett was picked up. How about that, by the way? Tyler Lockett saying, release me from the Tennessee Titans, and I want to go play with the Raiders, who have a little bit better record, but I want to be reunited with Geno Smith and Pete Carroll, which I understand, but it's not like a better situation by any means. Maybe a little bit because you're familiar with the head coach and the quarterback. But yeah, I think that come next Tuesday, Jakobi Meyers will be dealt to a different team.
If they can get as much value as you can for him, because I don't think there's a lot of wide receivers out there on the trade market, at least ones that are more established than Jakobi Meyers is.
Would you debate Rashid Shaheed? I mean, only like a couple years, probably like a better deep threat.
Yeah, I'd say Jakobi Meyers is more of a complete, reliable receiver who can...
Yeah, all around good.
Yeah, who you can just throw to, except, I mean, we talked about it before, the run blocking. Again, run blocking is, it can be sometimes, I think, subjective because we just don't know what the assignment is. But sometimes when there is that cornerback, and they're playing like a nickel defense, and he's creeping in, expecting the run, kind of lined up right on the hip of the defensive end, and Jakobi Meyers can't cut him through it with an angle. And I don't know if they even call this in the pros, but I still hear my freshman football coach in my head yelling, Langford, stock block, which was just going at an angle and then blocking a defensive back. So I don't know, but as far as I've seen, the run blocking is atrocious on his side. He's way more of a pass catching back, or a pass catching type of guy. So I don't know, dude. I think they can get as much value as they can for him, but they should, because I don't know how many really solid receivers. I guess Rashid Shaheed's another one, but I don't know. I what do you think? Like a third, fourth round pick, third round pick might be the ceiling?
I'd say fifth.
Fifth, damn. Yeah.
I mean, there is a new mentality when it comes to draft picks now with how big contracts are. So if you can get, cheap talent, you'll do that. You don't want to give away second, third round picks willy-nilly, for even fourth round picks. Like Deebo Samuel went for a fifth round pick earlier this offseason. So I would say it's the same deal with Jakobi Meyers. JYOM Jennings' name was brought up today by Jeremy Fowler. Kyle wasn't even asked about that. He's like, I'd be very surprised if JYOM is not on this football team. And the 49ers are not in a position to be trading away wide receivers when Ricky Pearsall is injured. So, yeah, I think JYOM Jennings will not be dealt, even though I guess there was something today with him deleting his Instagram account. But who the fuck knows what that stuff means anymore. So, I think Jakobi Meyers, it will make sense for the Raiders to deal him. I mean, we'll see where the football team goes. Who are they playing this week? They're playing Jacksonville off a bye. I mean, that should be a game that the Jags win, but we'll see. But yeah, I think that given everything that's gone on this season, it makes the most sense to deal with Jakobi Meyers.
Yeah, solid player. He's been all right through his career. Never really a number one. He was kind of on that Patriots team when I think N'Keal Harry was the first round pick, and then this undrafted free agent Meyers is kind of taking over. And I don't know, he didn't have his first 1,000-yard season until he joined the Raiders. So he's done a good job. But once Devontae Adams left, we both said it on the podcast, and I think many agreed that Meyers is just not a number one receiver.
No, he's not.
And I think Alon just said it literally. Jakobi Meyers is a nice number 2 or 3 who's force-fed the ball and on checkdowns with good after-the-catch run ability. And sometimes you make the tough catches too. And I think he'll be a valuable piece to another team that could be making a playoff push. I just wonder which team that is. I don't know.
Bills. I would say Buffalo. It's evident to me that the Bills have a very strong running game, but since the Atlanta game, their wide receivers have a hard time getting off man coverage. If you get a physical wide receiver, like Keon Coleman's good like that, but he's young still. So if you get a guy, and then they're missing Josh Palmer right now. So if you get Jakobi Meyers with Josh Allen, helping him out on third downs and just a guy that can break away from man coverage, I think that will benefit them greatly.
Oh my God, to go from Geno to Josh Allen.
Yep. That's all it takes sometimes.
Not even just Geno. To go from Jimmy and Aiden and Geno to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Upgrade.
I would say so. Sad news with the Raiders recently. First and foremost, Carol Davis passed away, the wife to Al Davis, the mother to Mark Davis. We didn't bring this up last week, and I forgot to bring this up. Doug Martin passed away, and the details of that are troubling. I don't want to speculate or anything, but it's a little dark there. And
sure.
As far as Doug Martin, I mean, I remember him killing the Raiders as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, where he rushed for, what was it, like 245 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, grew up in Oakland, and to get vengeance on his hometown team, I mean, that's how I was introduced to him. And then he had his short stint with the Raiders on the back end of his career, but I think he's 36 or was 36. Just gone way too soon. Rest in peace to Doug Martin.
Yeah, I remember. Also remember one of his first times with the Raiders, though. It was ugly.
Yeah,
it was bad. But God, man, just tragic. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how any other way to describe it. I think we did a story about it on KCBS. It's just, it goes much deeper than just like, an NFL football player who passed away. Like it's much more than that.
No, definitely. And then just this Monday, George Atkinson, at the age of 78, Raider great. The rivalry with Cliff Branch is all time. The whole thing, if you're a Raider fan and history, like it goes back to the season opener of 1976, where George Atkinson just clotheslines Cliff Branch, or sorry, not Cliff Branch, Lynn Swann. And the quote is from George Atkinson, like, if he didn't want to get hit, they shouldn't have been out there. And just George was that type of player, all-time Raider great. And I got to know him doing the Raiders pregame show. He would do hits every week with John Lund, and he was a character, man. Like, whether he was there at Raiderville or at home eating something while he was doing the hit or drinking something sometimes, he was just crazy. And on one of my favorite all-time quotes is NFL Films. They did the top 10 of the best rivalries in NFL history, and it was the Steelers and Raiders. And it's years later after both guys are retired. And George Atkinson still has the same mentality that he had as a player, where they ask him about Lynn Swann. Like, what are your thoughts on the great Lynn Swann? He just goes, Lynn Swann? Soft. He hated Lynn Swann well after his playing days. George was a character. His son tried out with the Raiders years ago, too. He was on their preseason team at running back. He tragically passed away as well. But, just rest in peace to George Atkinson at the age of 78.
Yeah, just really the Atkinson family. If you go to why George Atkinson III ended up doing what he did, it was just, there's just so much going on there. And I think the thing that I pulled, I ended up screen recording this this morning just for the podcast. But yeah, from this NFL Films, from the 76 America's game, I want to say, it's just all time.
See it in the eyes. You can see fear in the receiver's face. The tough ones hang tough in there, but the ones that don't have a lot of heart, they give it up.
Even star tight end Russ Francis had trouble going up against Atkinson in the 1976 playoffs.
George popped Russ Francis right in the nose, broke his nose. It bled the whole game. I said, George, why did you do that? He said, well, that guy's 6'5", 230 pounds, and I'm 5'11", 180, and I just had to let him know that that's the way it's going to be today.
Dude, all those Raider players from the 76 team and 80s and 83, they were just characters, man. Like, God, Phil Villapiano and Ted Hendricks, George Atkinson with his partner in crime, Jack Tatum. They didn't give a fuck, dude. They just lay people out. They didn't care if they injured guys either, but rest in peace of George Atkinson.
But I do love the way they describe that situation with the Steelers, though. He's like, when the Steelers did it, with Jag Lambert and all them, that came off as aggressive. When we did it, it was dirty. And
exactly.
Speaking
of the criminal
him,
element.
Speaking of him and the Soul Patrol, which is just an all-time great nickname for a position group. Yeah, had the pleasure of speaking with him when unfortunately when John Madden passed away, and I think we had him on for like 20 minutes. He was just so gracious with his time, and I think I talked to him a few times, just over the phone, never too much like a producer, but just always really cool, man. So that hurt to see that one.
Yeah. Rest in peace to George Atkinson, and condolences to the whole Raider family and Atkinson's family as well. All right, we'll transition to Week 8 in the NFL. And we don't have to go through every single game tonight, Steven. So where do you want to start? What were the biggest takeaways for you as far as the week that was in the NFL?
Well, here's my question to you, and I guess we'll go with the most recent game of the week, but the Packers back?
Well, the most recent game, Steven, would be Monday night.
Oh, they played on Sunday night. That's right. I got there on Sunday night. Commanders Chiefs. I didn't even think about Commanders Chiefs because Mariota was playing. I forget that game. We're not even going to talk about that.
Hold on 1 second. I thought Marcus Mariota actually played a fine game. Just I thought his receivers kind of let him down a little bit. The Chiefs were kind of sleepwalking a little bit to start that game. Mahomes threw a bad interception on a slot fade to Marcus Lattimore, and then Debo. Every time he plays the Chiefs, man, he bobbled the ball up in the air, gets picked off by a defensive lineman. Yeah. The Chiefs, dude, they might have, I know it's going to sound crazy, but they might have the best talent as far as like a Patrick Mahomes team that they've had in the past. Like before it was Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, but they have now Rashee Rice is back. They still have Travis Kelce. They have Xavier Worthy. The running backs they have in Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Like this might be the best complement of running backs and receivers that Patrick Mahomes has played with. Not to mention that defense is way better than what it was in 2019. But yeah, dude, the Chiefs. This is like not a crazy statement to make, but they're a different team than what they were at the beginning of the season. So I thought the Commanders had a good game plan for the beginning of that game. But they got a little too cute, a little overly aggressive with 4th and 1 calls to where they went deep. But yeah, bottom line is the Chiefs, they're just kicking people's ass right now.
Yeah, they are, and I hate them. So anyway, Sunday night.
I hate them.
Listen, man, they're back. They're good. They're gonna and as soon as they get to the playoffs, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna give them the advantage every single week because of 3 guys: Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Steve Spagnuolo.
Yep.
And I just said Spagnuolo. I meant Spagnuolo.
Close enough.
Spagnuolo. Excuse me. If you say that a lot, it kind of becomes a weird name in your head. Spagnuolo. Mm-hmm.
Or Spags, whatever.
They got speedsters everywhere. Now that Rashee Rice is back, maybe not a great nickname to call him.
Yeah. But hopefully the Buffalo Bills beat them this week. We'll talk about that on Saturday's show. The Packers. This was probably the most entertaining game of the weekend. Although with the slate that was pretty bad. Like I think the average margin of victory this week was 18 points. Ooh. And this game was 10 points, so might be one of the closer affairs. I thought this was a signature win for them. They looked really good week 1 and week 2 against the likes of the Lions and the Commanders. And since then, I don't think they really played to a high level. They played on their competition. They lost to the Cleveland Browns where they really should have won that game. They tied the Dallas Cowboys. Just barely beat the Cincinnati Bengals and the Arizona Cardinals. But this game, I know the Steelers don't have a great defense. And I know their offensive line is not the best. But to go into Pittsburgh and to play to the magnitude of what that storyline was with Aaron Rodgers going up against his former team, and really the Steelers dominating that game to start until the second half where they were leading 16-7. The pass rush was getting to Rodgers. The Steelers could not stop Tucker Kraft. That guy might be the best tight end of football just for this season, the way he's able to block the hell out of somebody and then release and they get wide open. Not to mention the Packers getting back Christian Watson, I think really opens everything up for their offense. They didn't even really run that much with Josh Jacobs. It was Wilson. And gotta give credit to my guy, Jordan Love. 20 consecutive completions there. Not bad. I thought that the Steelers pass rush would play a lot better than what they did against the Cincinnati Bengals. I thought the Steelers would get to them a little bit. No sacks. Yeah, that was the first time where I was like, okay, that's where the Packers actually might be NFC contenders.
Dude, some of those, I mean, and you're talking about, but you're talking about the pass rush from the Steelers. There are a couple of throws that Jordan Love made where he was hit. I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like just the arm strength that he has. I think the Packers they're kind of back, man. I don't know if they had ever went anywhere. I mean, they're 5-1-1, but I think we're back to putting the Packers in NFC potential contenders here after that Sunday night performance, especially with the way Jordan Love is playing. But you got to see him do it in the playoffs. Do it in the playoffs at all times. What do you think Aaron Rodgers was saying to the to DK Metcalf? I think was he doing his best lineup of at usual suspects impression? Give me the keys, you fucking cocksucker.
At what point, Steven?
When he was looking to the sideline and he was yelling at, I think, DK Metcalf.
I think he was yelling at everybody. I think that we know Rodgers when he's pissed off, he just kind of makes faces and says stuff under his breath, but we all know what he's mouthing.
Oh, shit.
What?
Yes. Give it till. It validated my give it till.
Oh, yeah.
I had it week 7 playing the Packers. Aaron Rodgers starts saying all this cryptic stuff about the Steelers offense. It's not really quite to that extent, but we're seeing him blame a lot of people other than himself.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of threw the fans under the bus where he was like, hearing "Go Pack Go" at your home stadium is not the best thing.
Also, it's week 8, so I got that wrong.
Close enough. I'll give you credit for that one. But also, by the way, you were right about Nate Hobbs. I mean, I didn't realize a lot of Packers fans are just down on him and he's not playing well.
Yeah, I don't like him.
But I guess Corey Ballantyne as their nickel is playing a lot better right now. Yeah, just that Steelers offense, like they definitely need another wide receiver. They picked up Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but I'm not a big fan of his. They could use a Rashid Shaheed. They need a deep threat. Like DK Metcalf is that guy that's just pulverizing defensive backs, but their team consists of DK Metcalf, 2 scat backs, and Jalen Warren, who can. Did you watch the broadcast where this guy can pull a soccer goal like while he's like training? Did you see this?
No.
This guy, like, it's not like like moving a car where you put it on neutral and you just put it on your back. Like this guy's moving goalposts with just his back. Like that's how he trains. And they show that clip on Sunday Night Football, and then he gets, a 5-yard loss in the backfield. Like someone makes a tackle on him. But the Steelers' offense is, it's got a banged up, or it's not a great offensive line. I don't know if it's banged up, but not a great offensive line. They got 2 pass catching running backs. They don't really have like a true bruising running back. Their best wide receiver is DK Metcalf. Besides that, they got Skoranek and Roman Wilson. They got a ton of tight ends. But, yeah, dude, it's just a lack of mobility from Aaron Rodgers right now. So will they win that division by default because the rest of the AFC North is not great? I can see the Ravens making a run now. The Bengals losing that game to the Jets. Yikes. They were leading that game for most of it and dominating with that offense. And you're like, Joe Flacco, like, dude, he's playing just as good as Joe Burrow a little bit with his offense. But then the Jets, they catch up. They get aggressive. Breece Hall looks amazing. He might be dealt at the trade deadline too.
Yeah.
But the way they're able to be resilient in that game, especially with what Justin Fields had to deal with this week with Woody Johnson calling him out, like that was lame as hell.
Yeah.
And God, this news kind of shook me a little bit on Sunday morning where Nick Mangold passed away for kidney failure. You're like, damn, I remember watching him play. And, not that that's the reason they won the game, but he lived close to Ohio. So good inspirational win. But, I mean, that's just a devastating loss of a human. But, yeah, I mean, good for always to, You're 0-7 on the season. Good to get a win. But yeah, bad loss for the Bengals. Very bad loss for the Bengals.
Yeah, man. And this is why people think Trey Hendrickson's on the table, is because of that loss and feeling like they could potentially lose to the Bears. But the Bears ended up losing to the Ravens in the way that they did this week. So there's no guarantee that the Bengals lose to the Bears anyway. I mean, listen, man, at least they finally got a win. Like, good God. I really like Aaron Glenn, just as a football guy, like as a football person. Like, I think he's great.
Really?
Yeah. I just like,
how come?
Like how brash he is. You know, I like just how straightforward.
No nonsense.
Yeah. I like how straightforward he is. And I think you need a little bit of that in a head coach. And I think he's authentically himself. I don't think there's any, like, what you're seeing is what you're getting. And I'm a big fan of that. So I'm glad they picked up the win. And yeah, as you mentioned with the Justin Fields thing, like, I don't know. Gotta be honest. There's times when I do hear, like, you know, Justin Fields is sitting in his closet crying.
Yeah, I heard of that too. Yeah.
I'm like, well, at least you can, like, fit in your closet. Like, I can't sit in my closet. It's suffocating. You know, like, it must be a big ass closet, like, because you're living in a mansion probably. It's just sometimes when I hear that, I mean, yeah, I feel terrible, but I'm like, you're also making a good amount of money, man. Like, it sucks. But like, it's just, you know, I sure I felt bad, but then I kind of think of the financials and you know, it's like when teams lose. Like, I felt bad for the Mariners losing, but then I thought, like, wow, think of the vacations that they're all going on right now.
It's $1 million problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the Bengals, I mean, like, I seriously doubt they'll trade Trey Hendrickson just because that franchise is batshit crazy. And with all of the heartache they had to go through this offseason with giving him a contract, adjusted contract, I don't think they're just going to let him just be traded to a good team. He'll walk away in free agency. But yeah, I mean, that's a loss that may do them in. What do you think? Like, they may actually now give the Steelers a run for their money. But yeah, the Ravens too. They look pretty good against the Bears. I shouldn't say good, just better. Like, you know, Caleb Williams, I don't think it was a very good performance. Threw a bad interception to Nate Wiggins. And as I said in previous weeks, why the hell didn't they go to Snoop Huntley previously? Like, if you're able to if you're able to just, you know, not adjust the offense as drastically with Cooper Rush, why don't you just go with Tyler Huntley? Like, it looked fine. Like, obviously, Snoop Huntley's not Lamar Jackson, but he's a similar skill set. So why would you change it up that drastically with Cooper Rush? So I think that was the difference. I think Caleb Williams just had a bad game. But now you see the Ravens. They got a little trouble with manipulating the practice reports with Lamar Jackson, but whatever. They'll get fined. And then they play tomorrow night. So they're playing the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins look better. But I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if the Ravens start making a run here. And I don't think it's a foregone conclusion the Steelers win this division.
I'm trying to look at what, especially because Lamar is back. And I'm trying to find that damn, that clip that I saw earlier. I meant to save it, but I didn't. Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right, I found it. So this was during a press conference. I hope this sounds okay. I don't know if it's going to come through, but yeah, screw it. It's our podcast. We're fine.
I had equipment. I told him to take all the games, ping pong, turn the TVs off. If we could have took the TVs out, it would have been out too. But I appreciate Mr. Steve for putting that in there for us. You know, but yeah, we had to focus. I wouldn't say people don't take the job serious. Don't get me wrong, but like, I didn't feel like it was the time for that. You know, we got a lot of work. To do.
He basically took the ping pong table away, the TVs, anything that's like a form of entertainment in their locker room, so they could just focus on football from here on out. So I think he'll have them locked in. And I don't know. I just thought that was hilarious.
Rich Gannon did the same thing. I remember when he came to the Raiders. It's that old NFL Films clip where he goes to the facility and he sees like the pool tables and the PlayStations. And he's like, so what is this for? He's like, oh, just recreational stuff, like for the guys to have fun when they're not watching film. And he's like, well, why aren't they watching film all the time? And then Rich Gannon, like this is in the off season. This is like at OTAs. And Rich Gannon, the type of guy that he wasn't really like a fun guy. He just packed up all the pool balls and all the PlayStation stuff, and everybody's like, "What the fuck, Rich?" And he's like, "If you don't like it, then you're not dedicated to winning." And Gruden was like, "I like this guy, man. Stirring shit up. I like it."
I wonder if he's going to tell that story. Like, I wonder if Gruden's going to see that and then kind of reflect on that Gannon thing.
I wish he would, because he doesn't bring up a lot of his Raiders stuff. Like I saw the other day, there was a clip on Wake Up Barstool where, Dave Portnoy asked him a question about dealing with owners, and he was like, "What was it like dealing with Al Davis all the time?" And he was like, "Al Davis wasn't the type of guy to throw me under the bus in the media. He would just call me at 2:00 in the morning, and I have to deal with that shit."
Oh God.
Yeah. What about the Eagles? Let's talk about that game real quick. They dominated the Giants out the gate with Saquon busting a 65-yard run. It finishes with 150 yards rushing. Didn't have A.J. Brown for this game. I'm not buying into any of the trade rumor stuff. I don't think he's going anywhere. Why would you do that? But if they're able to run the football with Saquon, they don't need to really worry about the pass game. And when they can run the football, everything else opens up. They're able to throw, to Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert for 2 touchdowns, throw a deep pass to Jahan Dotson. Not to mention, when they can run the football, anybody can run. Like, not just Saquon, but Tank Bigsby had 100 yards rushing. The tush push call on the fumble, that was lame.
Yeah.
That was an inverted whistle. That was whistled way too quickly. That was a bad call, no doubt. It's just ticky-tacky now with the referees, where you don't know when there's a pile up. Like, when is the play over? Like, I've seen it so many times where Marshawn Lynch was still moving his legs. Like a game against the Raiders years ago, where you think he was, stopped, and then they gave him the touchdown because he kept moving his legs. With Jalen Hurts, he was stopped. And how long do you let the play go? It's maybe 2 seconds where they whistle that thing dead.
Right.
So I thought that was lame. I thought that was a bad call. However, I laughed my ass off at Brian Dable. Just they looked at the play. The referees looked at it at the command center and with the referees in the stadium, and they came back and had official ruling where it's not a fumble. Even though they had that ruling, Brian Dable is still so mad about the call, he throws his challenge flag regardless. And they basically already told him, like, "Dude, we already ruled it. It's not a fumble." He's like, "I don't give a damn. I want to review it anyway." And that's just a waste of a timeout. This is the same guy that went crazy on the Thursday night game against the Eagles where, Jackson Dart gets hurt and Russell Wilson skipping a ball in the dirt. And he's like, "Well, get my quarterback out of the fucking 10. I want his ass on the field right now." And I know that he's playing for his job, but man, is he nuts sometimes. But I kind of like it. A little bit.
Yeah, he's insane. He's crazy. But I kind of like him too, in the same vein that I like Aaron Glenn. Look, there's not much to analyze beyond that with this game.
Right.
And I think that's what the 49ers would hope for, is that they could just run the ball like the Eagles did in this last one, or like this last week, because that's really their best chance they have to win it. Look, man, if Saquon just keeps on doing that and you can limit Jalen Hurts, who's really not been good passing the football, like if he has to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game, Eagles probably aren't in a really good spot. But if you're making him throw 20 to 25, where all you got to do is just have him not turn the ball over, and you're just building your offense around Saquon Barkley, that's what won them the championship last year. All you got to do is get to the playoffs, and then Jalen Hurts just, I think, flicks on the switch and then turns up to another level. I think he's just a different quarterback when it comes to the postseason. I don't think he's a good regular season quarterback at all. That's the reason that people are kind of down on Jalen Hurts. It's just because of what his numbers look like. But when he gets to the playoffs, man, he just wins.
No, he does. I would say his regular season stats have not been impressive since 2022. I will say this season, though, Steven, like, he had to throw against the Rams to have them come back in that game. 2 weeks ago against the Vikings, he was pretty impressive throwing the football. Right. It's just inconsistent. He's really inconsistent with his passing. Just real quick on this game. Not that I know I've talked down about Cam Scatterbu and what he could be in the league. I never want to see a player hurt. That was devastating. To have a dislocated leg. He's out for the season. He was a firecracker for that team. You saw Jackson Dart just beside himself when that injury went down. So never want to see that. You never want to see that with a rookie player too. And good on the Eagles' consigliere, Dom DeSandro, a.k.a. Big Dom, giving him some pizzas and cheesesteaks because it was out of respect. It was out of respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that injury sucked.
Yeah.
Dude. You don't like seeing an ankle twisted the complete other way.
Right.
And I think it's a dislocated ankle as well as like a fractured fibula is what they diagnosed it as, which sucks. Anything with the tibia or fibula is just awful.
Right.
So yeah, hopefully he can come back next year.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah. No, definitely next year. Yeah. He'll be able to do that.
Maybe. I mean, that's a
it's not a torn ACL or Achilles. I think he can come back from that.
Big time injury.
It's a broken leg though. How long did it take? Like, I'm trying to think of broken legs recently. I mean, this isn't recent, but like Gordon Hayward, like, did it just take him a year to come back?
God, I don't remember.
You remember that? God, I remember that opening night of the NBA, and we were like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah,
and then
good.
Kevin Harlan, like, not to laugh at the injury, but it means, but like Kevin Harlan immediately on the call just goes, "And he broke his leg. His leg is broken."
Oh man, God, yeah, I remember that.
I just remember the reaction was like everybody in the NBA just been like, "Prayers up for Gordon Hayward," and of course, but at the same time, NFL players were like, "You guys never seen a broken leg before? Come on, he'll be all right."
Jesus.
As far as other things from the week that was, the Broncos and Cowboys game, I'll say that Bo Nix is highly inaccurate. Like that opening drive, he throws a horrendous interception. But after that, I think he had 4 touchdown passes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He just runs Sean Payton's offense really well. He does. He schemed up perfectly for him. I don't know if he's a great talent, but he just fits what they're trying to do right now. As far as the Cowboys, their defense is horrendous, and they're not one defensive player away either. I see all the rumors, as you just said, Steven, with maybe they'll trade for Max Crosby. No. Maybe they'll trade for Trey Hendrickson. I highly doubt that. They are not one pass rusher away from that defense being good. They are awful.
Yeah, and I mean, letting Troy Franklin do what he did, get a couple of touchdowns from, I think I want to say he's from East Palo Alto. Both guys played on the Ducks, obviously. And I mean, Trayvon Diggs is hurt, right? Like he's been hurt. So I don't know about the Cowboys. I know their offense can be one of the best in the NFL. I just think that's proof, though, that this Broncos team could go pretty far in the postseason. Like, I really think that defense is a playoff caliber, championship caliber defense. It just depends on how far Bo Nix is going to take them.
Yeah.
Really. But the fact that they're putting up 44 points against the Cowboys defense that stinks, okay, but that offense has been really good. And being able to hold them to, 20, 22 in a blowout loss like that, 24, excuse me, pretty impressive. So I think the sky's the limit for the Broncos, man.
I would say the defense is really good, and they're going to be the next couple of weeks though. They'll be out with they want to have Patrick Surtain because he has a pec injury.
Yeah,
but I have to see it to believe with Bo Nix. I'm not buying him just yet. As far as just quick takeaways from the rest of the week, Bills, they got to get a running game going. They're good to go. James Cook over 200 yards rushing. The defense looked like the best it has all season long. Andy Dalton was the quarterback for the Panthers, but yeah, they looked really good. It's just a matter of the passing game. It's crazy to think like this upcoming matchup against the Chiefs with the Bills, the Bills definitely have the running game. Josh Allen's incredible. Do they have the passing game to go up against their secondary? And do the Chiefs right now have the running game? They have the quarterback and they have the receivers, but do they have the running game to match what the Bills are doing on the ground right now? So, yeah, good rebound week for the Bills coming off the bye. They dominated the Panthers. Just a matter if the Chiefs take away the running game for the Bills, can Josh Allen drop back 30 to 40 times and connect with his receivers that he currently has constructed?
Well, that's if they do take away the running game. They might have the best run game in all the NFL, man.
Could be the case. Anything else that stands out to you, Steven?
God. I mean, not really in terms of the game, but because they should have gotten a win over this team since every team's really been beating up on the Titans. But God, man, what's going on with the Colts owner with Jim Irsay's daughter is pretty damn cool. Like her being on the sideline, answering at press conferences, explaining kind of her football nerddom, if you want to call it that, where she's just it kind of looks like it's micromanaging on one side, but on the other side, it's there's an owner who genuinely cares about this franchise. Like I'll give Mark Davis that. He's not like an owner who's just part of some investment firm who has a bunch of money and just wanted to buy a sports team for fun. Like it is in his blood to, be a part of the Raiders. I'll give him that for as much as I've said. And it's the same with the Irsays. So it's really cool what they're doing right now. I'm very interested to see what Daniel Jones looks like in the playoffs, but they might have the best team in the league. And shout out to Ben Solak, who I think he just had his second child, so he hasn't been watching too much, or he hasn't been writing too many of his Tuesday morning columns, which I usually read because I think he's like one of the best NFL writers in the business. And he said that one guy who's not getting enough credit right now, who should be, is Tony Sperano Jr. He has just totally revamped that offensive line. He's the O-line coach. He needs more credit just because we know what the O-line looked like last year. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
It looked like a shell of themselves last year. And now Tony Sperano Jr. has kind of made it into what helped make it into what it is. And, the running back running behind that line could be winning offensive player of the year this year. And
Definitely.
Daniel Jones could be getting a big ass contract from the Colts just because they've been able to protect him and he's been able to run Shane Steichen's offense. So, look, man, I think that they're on the rise for sure, but just watching everything that's kind of been happening around that team, it's pretty cool to see. It's hard not to root for them.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people criticize the Colts owner, Jim Irsay's daughter, for micromanaging, but I like that she's involved. I like that she's not, awesome. It's not like she's like taught, like, like saying like, oh, I want to do that, Shane Steichen, I want to do this. Like, no, she just wants to learn. I totally respect that. As far as the Colts, they're the best offensive football, in my opinion. They have so much going on in pre-snap, and then Jonathan Taylor, he's got 14 touchdowns through 7 games. He's the leading candidate for Offensive Player of the Year. I wonder, he's not going to win the award, but how many votes will he get for MVP when it's all said and done if no one really runs away with it quarterback-wise?
Yeah.
But, yeah, dude, I think it's not 3 straight rushing touchdowns for 3 straight weeks because one of them was a passing touchdown because it was a flip play. But, yeah, the Colts are just dominant right now. And we'll see when they play harder teams. Like, they got the Steelers coming up. They got the Chiefs coming up. But, yeah, there's rolling through the AFC South right now. They swept the Tennessee Titans. And, yeah, dude, I'm very impressed with what they're doing offensive line-wise. As far as anything else, Dolphins really exposed the Falcons. I don't think that the Falcons are not that good of a team. I think that Kyle Shanahan, who worked with Mike McDaniel, kind of gave the blueprint to how to beat them. And if you like the same thing with Christian McCaffrey having 200 yards from scrimmage, Devon A-Chain coming out of the backfield and catching passes. If you just expose their linebackers, then they're not that great of a defense. So Tua gets things right, throws 4 touchdown passes with all of the turmoil going on there with Mike McDaniel calling out Tua, saying, I hope he doesn't throw 10 interceptions this week. Pretty good win for them.
Yep. And I mean, can't believe Mike McDaniel's job is still, he still has it. I can't believe that. Another thing, and I know he's getting a lot of flack for what he's saying post game, and he might deserve it because you make your bed and you're laying it when you hit your wagon to the Cleveland Browns. But Myles Garrett getting 5 sacks against the Patriots and being the first NFL player in history to do that and not win the game. It's really impressive. Actually, it's even worse. What did I write down here? First player in history to do that and lose by more than 3.
Yes.
No, that's insane.
Do you know about Derek Thomas having 6 sacks in a game and losing on the last play of scrimmage because he didn't sack the quarterback? Yeah.
And that's an interesting comp, I think, for Garrett. Like, when we talk about the all-time greats, like, you can talk about talent all you want, but whenever you get to it depends on the position group that you're talking about, but whenever you get to like the top 10, top 5, that's when rings come into play.
Yeah.
And I think that's something where you're seeing Myles Garrett maybe entering one of the greatest defensive ends of all time conversations, but until he wins a ring, like, I don't think you can have that. I think what we can do, though, is appreciate the talent that he has and what he's doing right now on the field. And he did that on the other side where Drake May is having this kind of season where he's looking like, shoot, he could be an MVP candidate by the end of this year just based on the talent that's around him.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots have been really impressive under Mike Vrabel. As far as Myles Garrett, yeah, that's an all-time dominant performance, and for it to go to the tune of a 32-13 loss, I mean, that just shows how inept their offense is. I'll say also, I don't feel sorry for Myles Garrett. He had his opportunity. He wrote a whole press release about why he wanted to leave the Cleveland Browns and why it doesn't matter about the contract. It doesn't matter about, anything else. It's all about wanting to win games and, winning before he goes into the Hall of Fame. And they said, all right, we'll give you $40 million. And he's like, all right, sold. I'm staying at Cleveland Brown. He knows what's going on. I'm sure they told him what the rebuild was going to be about. He's entitled to be frustrated, no doubt. But do I feel sorry for him? No, I don't. He could have made this. He could have pushed for this. He sat down with Rich Eisen and told him, I want out of Cleveland. This is not about money. And sure enough, it was.
Yeah. And he, in whatever flack that he's getting, he might deserve it. But I also think we're just, we're kind of just drivers honking out a Waymo in front of us when, you might be expressing your feelings to somebody, but nobody's driving the car. Like, you're probably saying all this stuff about Myles Garrett. I don't think Myles Garrett really does social media too much. So I don't think whatever he's saying in the post game, like, you're not really getting through to him. I don't really understand the point of saying all this stuff about Garrett. It's like, cool. Like, obviously, he probably shouldn't be complaining about this sort of stuff, but who are you trying to get that message to?
Exactly. All right, that's it for week. I say this is week 8, right? Week 8? Yeah. Week 8 in the NFL. Sometimes I bye weeks trip me up sometimes. Week 9. We're going into week 9 of the NFL. You see what's going on in the chat right now? There's a whole conversation about foot fetishes.
Oh, no.
So I think Alon brought up the fact that Jim Irsay tweeted out that he likes Sarah Palin's feet, and now it's been a whole discussion about
feet.
Guys that are into that shit. Yeah, you guys are weird sometimes.
Here's my thing about feet.
Okay, here we go.
All men's feet are gross.
I agree with that.
They should not be out in public. Like, I just don't do the feet thing. I just don't. Like, sometimes maybe I will. But I just don't. Like, I can't, like, I see.
Hold on, back that up. Sometimes I will.
Yeah, sometimes I go out in flip-flops because I'm just too lazy to put shoes on.
I've seen you in flip-flops, and, I deal with it.
Yeah. I can't do feet. Can't do them. Especially, like, I mean, and I'm not talking, like, as far as a fetish way. I'm talking just in general. It's like, whenever I see pants with sandals, I'm like, wait, you had enough energy to put on some pants? You don't have enough energy to put some socks and shoes on under those pants? Like, I don't need to see those great big toes of yours under some jeans. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Dudes' feet are sorry, what?
British people don't like that. They're not big on feet, so I think that has something to do with it.
Yeah, dudes' feet are nasty. If I'm hanging out with, like, a friend and we're chilling at their house and they're not wearing socks, I'm like, dude, what are we doing? Come on. It's just you and me hanging. Like, we don't need to do that. And I'm kind of dreading Hawaii with the sense that I'm working with my coworkers and they're going to be in flip-flops and I have to see what their feet look like. And I'm like, I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that at all.
Yeah, it's very personal.
It is, in a way.
The fact that I even wear sandals around you, like, I think you should take that as kind of a compliment.
Well, we're close, but don't ever think I'll return the favor.
I've never seen your feet.
Nor will you. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe one day. I don't know. If I'm watching this baby of yours and I feel comfortable at your house, maybe.
Oh, God. Don't you? No, if you're watching my... No. No.
All right. On that note...
This segment brought to you by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, exactly. A guy that knows feet very well. As far as Thursday night, Baltimore against the Miami Dolphins, the Ravens are 7.5-point favorites, over under 50.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna Lamar Jackson comeback game. I'm gonna lay the points with the Ravens. And what did you say the over was?
50.5.
It's a lot. Go under.
Against my better judgment, I'm going to go over because I think the Dolphins have found a little bit of a groove offensively, but I think with Lamar Jackson back, you'll see the Ravens humming. But 7.5 is kind of steep for me, my man. So I'm going to go Ravens win, Dolphins cover, but over on the 50.5. Living bold and beautiful. All right, everybody. That's going to be it for tonight. We'll see you guys on Saturday at 11 a.m. Depending on, I have no idea what I'm doing Friday night for Halloween yet. I don't think I'm even dressing up. I can't think of a costume in time, but we'll adjust if we have to, but most likely we'll be here at the usual time.
Do you have a bathrobe? Like a red bathrobe?
I don't. Why? What would you want me to be?
Just saying Leo DiCaprio in One Battle After Another is like a easy costume.
Yeah, but I don't have the hair for that.
You don't need hair, dude. Just sunglasses.
It needs to be in a ponytail.
Sunglasses, beanie, and the robe.
Have you seen the movie yet?
No.
Oh, dude, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good flick. I'll save, I know you promoted Jackass of the Week and Pop Culture Catch-Up. I got some things I've been watching.
Oh, how about it?
Wow. Yeah, that's a tease. That'll keep them.
Wow.
All right. We'll see you guys on Saturday. Everybody in the chat, thanks to the Skills Report. I got you first this time, Skills. AJ Cruz, Ernie Chavez, Ernie 1, Rocka New Era, Pat H, Joey P. Good to see you, Joey P. Or Joy P. Alon. Next time, dude. Next time you fill in, hot sauce. Otis Bird is the word. I think Pat H I saw in here. I don't think I saw Tacky tonight. I think I saw Lauren F earlier. And I believe that is it. All right, buddy. We'll see you on Saturday. Steven, say what you always say.
Listen, if you are at a stop sign, just make sure you let the next person at the stop sign go, because people here in Alameda don't understand the concept of a stop sign. So make sure you are treating the stop sign appropriately. That's just our opinion, man.